afternoon again. Once again, we're doing our little tour around how we put the Disco Discharge albums together, and we're delighted to be joined by one of the acts that's featured on not one but two of the Disco Discharge albums. Good afternoon, Sylvia Love.
Good afternoon, Ian. Good afternoon, Jane.
Hi, Sylvia.
And of course, David Akerman, who compiles the series and puts it all together. And we just thought we'd have a little free-form chat to ask Sylvia about what it's like to be rediscovered.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, let's get going then. So
okay.
First thing I was going to ask you is how you came to actually make these records. Were you singing before, or were you had you recorded anything before?
No, I hadn't, but I'd really always liked singing for as long as I can remember. And I was going out with someone at the time called Matthew, and he knew Trevor Vallis.
A producer.
That's right. And Trevor was looking for someone for this record, so I went to see him, and he wanted me, so he got the deal with RCA.
Okay, cool, because you definitely had that, you know, certainly on the covers you've got that disco look going on. That's a fantastic look, I really like that. So, Trevor put the deal together with RCA?
That's right, yeah, he had contacts at RCA and he put the whole deal together.
All right, cool. So did you have any blueprint in mind for making these records, any influences?
Yes, we had Georgia Moroder, as did many artists at that time, but we really wanted to progress in our own way.
Where did you record them?
They were at Mayfair Sound Studios.
It was quite a big production, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a big production, and we had leeway to do basically what we wanted, really.
Okay.
And extraterrestrial, we even had a choir.
Right. Okay.
You listen very carefully, you'll hear it in the second verse.
That's quite amazing, because you know you just don't get that kind of thing these days, do you? I mean, a choir now would be a bit of software.
Yeah,
more
exactly.
likely. So you were in a studio with a choir.
That's right.
Did they take a long time to record?
Well, there was a lot going on at that time, because they were using 24 tracks, you know, back to back, and it took quite a while to record. We all enjoyed it.
Yeah, of course.
We all had a good time.
Well, that kind of comes out in the records as well.
Yeah.
They both sound really happy. And were RCA supportive of them? Did they like what you'd done?
I think RCA were really brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah, they were very good to us. Very good, and they did like them. But disco faded out a bit.
Yeah, they were a little bit late for that kind of that big kind of disco explosion. Did RCA do anything outside of the UK with the records, or were they released only in the UK?
I think they were released in Europe only. I have found people in the States I've got quite a fan following out there, who love the records, and they became real they were always played in clubs, you know, early hours of the morning, I've been told, and a lot of people know them, but it was never released in the States.
In the States?
No, it was just word of mouth from the DJs, I think.
What about promotional activity? I know you did the Dutch TV programme, because that video's on YouTube, and it's great. It really kind of captures the whole essence of the record and of the disco era. But was there anything else? Did you do anything else?
Well, we did quite a few radio interviews and some PA work, and I went to a few clubs and things.
Well, doing live PAs and stuff.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, cool. And that was just in the UK or around Europe?
No, that was in the UK, and I did a couple of things in Holland, as you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you only actually ever released the 2 tracks?
That's right.
You know, so, and even though they're kind of like much sought after and very much loved, did you have plans to do any more, or an album or anything at the time?
At the time, they had a 3rd record which they wanted to put together. It was called Ultralife, and it was a trilogy, you know, and it never came about, of course, unfortunately.
Oh, did you actually?
But can we get hold of the tapes of the next Disco Discharge?
Did you actually record it?
No, we didn't.
No, all right. So it's not even a. No, that's a shame, isn't it?
But it may happen.
Were you actually a disco fan at the time?
I was, but I listened to a lot of music at that time. You know, it was disco, Tamla Motown, blues, jazz, country. I mean, I love all music. I even love classical music. So I have nothing that I stick to.
You just like everything.
All sorts, you know.
Okay, fine. And obviously both records have had big cult followings, and they have done for a few years. Now, obviously, without the internet, you probably would never have known about that, would you?
I didn't know anything. I mean, my cousin Jacqueline rang me up one day and she said, "You're on YouTube."
Oh, really? You didn't find it yourself?
I didn't know. No. She just, you know, she rang me up and I looked up and there I was, you know. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, it's quite amazing that piece of footage from that Dutch TV footage still exists.
I know.
And I'm so glad it does. But you think after all those years that people, they you know, that it would have been lost. It must be quite satisfying though now to know that there is such a following for them, for things that were recorded so long ago.
Oh, it's great, really. You know, you think, oh, you know, you did that then, and then you thought, oh, well, it didn't go anywhere. But now, you know, all this is happening. It's really, I can't believe it. I think it's great, you know.
But it's kind of, I mean, I suppose in a way it's a shame that you've never been able to reap the rewards of it, because there's so many re-edits of your tracks on the internet, and however good they are, it would be nice if you actually saw some kind of financial, you know, something from them, wouldn't it, over the years?
I think we take it as a promotion, really.
Yeah.
It's good promotion for my profile, really.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
what we want to do now.
Yeah.
That's a very realistic way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have to be realistic, though, don't you? Because
I mean, you can't.
there's disco's re-edits are all over the place, aren't they?
They are.
I mean, hundreds of them get released each week, and the
time.
artists won't ever see anything from them because they're, to all intents and purposes, they're illegal. But I mean, it's not like people are going to sue people for it.
No.
You know, so how did you feel then when we got in contact with you and said we'd located the original masters and we're going to release them?
I was absolutely ecstatic. I mean, I can't thank you enough, really. I mean, I think it's so brilliant that you've done that, you know, because it's really sort of put me out there, you know, again. So, and it's just at the right time.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Mike Brain and I got together and we started recording again.
Yeah, of course.
I'm really excited about getting into the music and all that.
Again, yeah.
And it's at the right time, really.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Yeah.
So you've already recorded Cosmic Carousel.
That's right.
And which is up on iTunes.
Yeah.
And the remix. Okay, so
the remix, we have a video on YouTube.
Okay. Okay, cool. So that's good. And you've been getting a good reaction to that from you?
A little bit slow, but I'm quite happy because you know, it's a long time since I did these records. So we're just doing, you know, we're going to record more records until we at least have an album at the end of it. So we're quite happy to mosey along and, you know, take it in our strike at the moment.
Yeah, so it's kind of a more relaxed approach and just doing it slowly.
Yeah, and just taking it all in, and we're just enjoying it. I mean, I love being in the studio.
Yeah, well, it's nice. It must be great to.
I mean, not just to sing, to actually be in there and
Yeah.
sort of help with the production and all that. It's great. I love it.
Definitely, brilliant. Yeah. Okay, I think that's everything, Sylvia. I want to just say thank you very much for coming in to speak to us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and
you'll be pleased to know that the next 4 Disco Discharge releases, not out for a month yet, I have to say, are already in the top 50 on pre-release.
Really?
Yeah, on Amazon in their pre-release charts.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice to know.
Thank you so much.
It's nice to know that people are enjoying them.
So you can actually go home now and say I've got a top 50 hit.
After all this time.